Part of it, again, part of success or identity, is association. You are who you associate with. That's what, our parents used to tell us, and it's so true, right? So what I found in my life is I've always wanted to improve in different areas of my life, right? For me, it starts with faith, family, fitness, and finance. Fitness of the mind, fitness of the body, and finance. But it starts with faith and family. Now, at different times, different areas of your life were spiking, right? So like at 21 years old, yeah, I had faith in God. I knew God was with me, but I was looking to party at that time, And as I got older and as I got wiser and as I started to realize that all these external things didn't bring me happiness, they brought me pleasure, right? And there's nothing wrong with pleasure. Pleasure is a good thing, but what you got to understand about pleasure, it's that it's a sensation. And because it's a sensation, it would eventually run out. It would get balanced. It gets balanced out by the fact that you have to go through pain, because life and pain are inseparable. Like you're always going to go through some pain, right? So that's what I realized. And so like, it doesn't matter if you had a big house or big cars, like all that, like eventually that pleasure you get out of it, it runs out. And you realize that you want to live inside out versus outside in. You don't let the exterior change you because you're inside out. And one of the ways that you live inside out is obviously cultivating gratitude, learning how to change a negative into a positive, the law of repurpose, right? You do those two things right, you can live inside out. But so as I started to realize that these exterior things that I was so obsessed with, and again, material things were a big reason for my success. So I don't want to confuse people, because that's the reason I wanted to work my butt off. But eventually you start realizing, and the reason I love that part of my life, in fact, on my Instagram, I posted when I put all my cars, and I posted like what that meant is, yeah, they were material things, but it got me to work my butt off so I can unlock new potential. So that's why I love that part about my life. But eventually that doesn't bring you happiness, right? It gives you pleasure, right, but it doesn't give you happiness. Happiness comes from living inside out. And what I realized was, like I said earlier, I kept getting this like empty feeling in my heart. So I'm like, okay, I need to surround myself with people of faith. If I want, again, just like common sense, you want to work on your finance game, well, get around some people that got money, right? You want to work on your fitness, you want to get ripped, start hanging around with some people that are ripped, you'll get ripped. Because most people don't want to be the only, overweight person or something if you're hanging around with people that are just fit, right? You eventually become who they are. You want your faith to grow? Well, you better start hanging out with people of faith. And what's interesting is, when I was younger, I used to think, man, because I knew that's where my heart was calling me. But I'm like, man, what am I going to do with these people? Like, I know what I got to do. I got to go hang out with them, but like, we have nothing in common. And I'm like, man, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. And now, I'm like, I have the greatest time. Like, we don't even have to drink. We don't have to do any of that, and we have a great time. I like hanging out with them actually more than, some other friends that all they want to do is drink. Right. Like, I get there and it's just like all they want to do is drink all day long. I'm like, that doesn't really do it for me anymore, So, different times you'll have different moments where you start hanging out with people that are doing things that you want to do. So that's how my relationship with Edwin started. I started going to Mosaic. The reason I left Shepherd was because we lived in Hollywood Hills, so Mosaic was just closer. So it was like literally, 5 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, let me go check this church out. And like you, I heard him speak and I was like, wow, he's just as good as Pastor Dudley, and he's closer. And then I found out he was Salvadoranian, and I was like, huh, cool. Yeah. And then I started, looking more into him, and then we just became good friends.